of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister A.H.A.D. With me today, we have Lord Holy Apostle Dan Saline, Holy Queen Mother Rab Saline, partner, favorite co-host, Brother Fakil Abdul Aziz. May I ease his peace and other blessings given by everyone's presence. To the A.H.A.D believers in the studio and those watching on TV land, may I ease his peace and other blessings by your presence as well. We're going to continue on in the conversation that A.H.A.D gave us last week concerning who is there to take the message. Oh man, the conversation was, still vibing off it, a beautiful conversation. But I know it's one thing that those who take the message should always start with oneself, before you go out, are you and yourself taking the message that the Lord have sent down to individuals? Because people have a tendency to always go out, away from themselves, to point to other people and other situations. But if you start taking things to heart and to home, and those saying home is where the heart is, they quote, but the home that you should be most mindful of is one that you have in here. With that being said, Holy Apostle, Holy Queen, Brother Fakir.
Brother Drees, just curtain with what we get. If you don't fairly practice to assess yourself, how do you, you're not going to be able to effectively even judge, or I should say determine, assess where other people are at. The best when I see a person is wrong, and I'm made to feel certain of that person is wrong, that's because I recognize that wrong. I know that wrong because I've seen it. I've seen it up close and personal, and it's like, it is real when it says we're all reflections of ourselves. You truly start to assess. So that gives you something to first recognize where there's injustice at, and also it gives you a balance in how to deal with it, and how to maybe even deal with yourselves. Get yourselves prepared to accept the message, to take the message. We used the term last week. We were talking about things like a person had to be fearful, mindful. How about courageous? You need to be courageous too.
Yeah. Yes, that courageousness is very important. You find a lot of timid people that congregate in religious circles, and timid and fearful people. And a lot of people, they fear other than A.H.A.D. They fear for A.H.A.D is less than fear.
They fear what they can see and what they feel can harm them because of what they see.
Right.
And what they can feel are the materialized things in life.
Right. That's why you have a lot of religious people say, God is love. God is good. Oh, I'm so sick of God is good, I could throw up. God is this, God is that. You never hear them say, God is cruel. God kicked my behind. God is a crusher. You never hear those things. That's because they find a comfort zone to hide themselves behind those sayings.
Behind one aspect.
And a lot of religious people, and most people that's not fearful ain't coming to religion. Because they think they equal with the law. A lot of times, if you deal with a person that's not full of fear, they're very don't have the fear, you don't usually find them in religious circles. Because they really think they're equal to Allah. They don't fear Allah enough. You have fearful people that don't fear Allah, but don't recognize Allah. So they're just in what I call a safe haven. But you need to have courage to deal with the ugliness of yourself, to fight the ugliness of yourself. You need to have a heart to say, okay, I'm going to try like hell to get rid of this ugliness that's in myself. One of the things I found out that's very challenging in dealing with the ugliness of yourself, if you can accept the truth coming from people, especially your children. You know, children say some harmful things sometimes when they get angry, but man, they be hitting that nail, that hammer on that nail, whew. And that's because they're a reflection
A
of
lot
you.
of times it's disrespectful children.
Yeah.
But I think that you shouldn't just apply it to your children because, you know, it should be applied to everybody. You should live your life with expectations that somebody's going to tell you the truth about yourself. And you should be wanting the truth about yourself, you know. And if you want the truth about yourself, nobody will have to be first to tell you the truth about yourself because you will be in front of that truth about yourself. You know what I mean? But, you know, like you said, there's a lot of cowards, you know, timid people that come to religion because they want to be guided. They're fearful. And you got those people who a lot of times we run into troublemakers because they think that they're greater than the great Lord itself. You know, that they should be appointed, that they are the ones in the mastermind, and then you can't do nothing with them. They might be warriors that would be great if you were in a war with people, you know, but for you know, like coming into an awareness and submission to the Lord Most High, that takes somebody who can truly lay themselves down. Now, it takes courage to lay yourself down before the Lord. Courage to lay yourself down before something that you fear more than anything, you know? And, but, you know, I have a question. I'm a messenger of Allah, right? Mm-hmm. How many messengers has there been in your life, in Allah, since you've been alive? What's the matter? How many we've had? We've had Elijah, myself. How many we've had? That you know of.
Since I've been alive. Multitudes. I should say multitude, but a number of them.
So who's the nearest messenger to you? Me.
You
right? You sure?
The nearest divine messenger.
You sure? Because there's a divine messenger in you. But people don't recognize the divinity of the messenger that's in them. What is nearer to the Lord itself than your soul? And the soul is a messenger to each individual. You have a divine messenger in you all the time, but you don't listen to it. You may not understand it, but it's there, and it's of the divine. A.H.A.D said it created man and it gave man soul. Right. And soul is the only thing of man that's fixed. Right. It stays right with the Creator. It stays right. Everything else about him goes out and it's like fleeting. It's just like a lamp post. That lamp post is there, stuck, but the light goes out. Huh? And you see it in different shades and what have you. Huh? It's just like a massive tree. The trunk is stationary, but them leaves is going all over the place. Sometimes break away. You know? And that's the way it is with man. The soul is dead, firm. And the truth of the Lord Most High. Sending messages out in the spirit to that individual. How many people pray and work towards becoming sensitized enough to hear that message? To be able to take that message that is given. The soul never leads astray. It always gives you right information. And when you go against your soul, then your conscience starts bothering you. Because there's a message in that conscience. You know you shouldn't do that. You know you shouldn't have did that. You know you need to straighten that up. You know you need to turn right. You know you need to do this. You know you need to do that. Don't do that. Don't do this. Do this. Do that. Boom, boom. Huh? And some people, in their perverted minds, they ignore that and then go and punish themselves by trying to punish someone else. Many times I go and I apologize, say, hey, I apologize. Sometimes I wasn't wrong when I apologized. But I needed to apologize to straighten out the situation and act as though I'm wrong. My wrong, it was being involved in it. Maybe, you know?
Right.
But as far as the act, let me apologize and straighten this out so that maybe this person will be able to see a better way. You know? And later it's like, you know, you apologize to me, but I was wrong too.
Right.
You know? Because if you look deep enough, you can always find some fault for yourself. But if you're one of those self-righteous individuals, you're not going to find no fault for yourself. My daughter, one of my daughters told me today, she said, you're always twisting what you want to fit you in your life. You got a good way of twisting things, you know? And I admit, I'm a master at twisting things. I admit that. But the thing about it is, A.H.A.D give me the path to twist it. See, because A.H.A.D make me right.
Right.
Make me reasonable. Make me realize why I'm doing what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and all the ins and outs of it. Sometimes it has me doing things, and then it paints the picture about why it had me doing it later. And then when I come to you later with my story, there you go, twisted. No, this is what it is. This is why it was done. You could charge me for doing something, and I'm telling you all the time, I'm not responsible for my own self. So how you gonna charge me? Oh, so you twisting that in your favor? Yeah. Because my Lord said this, that, and the other. And, oh, here you go. You gotta talk about the Lord. You see, when I talk about the Lord, people get shut down. So I say, okay, let them feel like they're on some fair playing ground. Don't mention the Lord. And show them this. But it ain't good enough. There you go, twisting. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
One of your niggas.
I'm gonna keep on picking at her until she say something. And she won't say. She in here. She in the audience. She ain't saying a word. Big smile on her face.
Well, one of the names the Lord gave you, A.H.A.D, is
Reasoning.
Everything done with reasoning, you know. But it's a verse from L that to accept the message, you know. I think about the story of Allah left in the Quran with Muhammad. For 13 years, he preached in Mecca
Yeah.
to his own people.
Mm-hmm.
And they the ones that ran him out of town
Right.
to Medina. It's only funny after those 23 years, 25 years, when he came back, as one promised to come back in victory, that they didn't even concede really that the truth that came in, but they still didn't really believe in the message.
Right.
They just feigned or
They was more material,
Material, if there's
physical.
anything.
They got beat down, so they said, "Hey, we gotta submit." But how many believers came out of that? Because see, you can't really count. Like they talking about the companions of Muhammad. Man, let me tell you something. The story goes that when Muhammad passed away, Ali was in tending to his body, his remains.
Right.
Everybody else is out arguing about who was going to be the leader.
Next leader, that's right.
What kind of companions was that?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? People talk about the disciples of Jesus. I got disciples. Huh? All messengers have disciples, students. How true were they? We don't know.
Hey,
We only know the
yeah.
stories.
I just say this here all the time. None of them was put
Where
up
she
on that
came
cross.
from? That nigga
I always say, I mean, it took me a long time to come to this realization. But I always say, you know how somebody said, you mess with my kid, you messing with me. If you touch my child, it's going to be a fight. And it do happen, it go down like that. Mother kills, whatever, was fighting the daughter, whatever. But I say to this day, Jesus was up on that cross alone.
Mm-hmm.
Not none of them 12 disciples was up there.
You ain't throw a rock or
And you ain't
spear
hear
or
about
knife
them
or
being,
nothing.
you ain't hear about them being stomped or killed or anything.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing is they love themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they love themselves because if they believe in their heart of heart.
Wait a minute, they might have did like some of my people be doing me. Don't worry about it. The Lord gonna take care of him. Let's run.
Oh man. That's my theory, Christian people. Don't get offended.
It's a theory because she scared me, man. I gotta keep turning
telling
towards her, boy.
It's really another way to, for those people to look at those disciples and not get caught up in the years of the storyteller and making those disciples holy, just like.
Well, that's what they did. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And Allah said it clearly through Muhammad and the Holy Quran that if you don't uphold the grace, the beauty of this Holy Quran, this holy commandment, this book of covenant, or the covenant, then I will recreate a new people. I will create a new people to take your place in upholding my grace on earth. And what have they done? They have, it's like mirrored the people of the book before them. And they talking about praising the companions and Allah praising Muhammad like Jesus became God, or the only begotten, and that kingdom of the heaven is his. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they have mirrored them with this. Now they trying to take Muhammad up to that. Allah praised Muhammad. You know, man.
But ain't Aisha so beautiful? Now, people's favorite passage in the Bible is.
They got different. They got different. The Psalm, the.
Yea, though I walk
Through the valley, the Psalm, yeah, 23rd Psalm.
I said, do anybody recite that and really picture themselves walking through the valley of the shadow of death?
Some of them don't know what the valley of the shadow of death is, and some of them consider the valley of the shadow of death in a right manner, but not to the depth that they should consider it. You know, they may just go to the level of their own experiences. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if you take that outside of yourself, then you've gone astray already. Because, you know, the valley of the shadow of death is not just so much the outer community that you're dealing in. It's that inner community, that deep valley of the abyss that, you know, you could fall in. Huh? Where the devil is in you, man. You know what I'm saying? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, that's inside of myself. I shall fear no evil. I shall stay on this path of truth and spirituality and get to you. When I come to the fork of the road, bless me to stay on the right path and not get on that winding road. Bless me to realize that the spirits and spirituality is real as it is here in this materiality of the physical. Huh?
The message, you know, like you said, who's going to take the message? That's the message. As long as we deal on the outer surface of things, then the devil have won in the victory in this sense. Nobody will ever peek in because they only keep them on the periphery, only on this. Like you said before, a while ago, about being on the ledge, the ledge. People go to, wait a minute.
No, I want to be out there. But you know one thing about the devil's job is so easy. Aisha gives us a straight path, one path. To the Lord is one way for everybody, right? Leading from themselves. The devil give us many ways, any kind of way you could think of except that one way. And you can have you out there, that's what happened to Adam and Eve. They started getting knowledge of different things and they start making choices. You know what I'm saying? But see, people think that the devil, they say, I ain't never worship the devil. Right? The devil got them thinking that it want them to worship it. The devil don't want you worshiping it. It wants you to worship anything. Anything aside from the Lord of the throne. And it has been successful.
That's it.
It only needs you to worship one thing. And the Lord said, I will try you by those things that you love over me. Huh? And Allah said, I am the owner of all things. And when Allah take a human being from some people, they lose their minds. Take a job from them, they lose their mind. Take a position from them, they lose their mind. You know what I'm saying? Because they have put too much interest in that thing where they have made that greater than their interest for the Lord Most High. Now, if you believe that the Lord, that the Creator is the owner of everything, and everything is within it eternal, then how you gonna go so crazy when it calls somebody back to itself that you had great interest in, you had great attachments to, great love to? I've heard religious people say, I love the Lord, but it took my husband. I love the Lord, but it took my mother. Damn it.
I've heard many say, when they lose a loved one, that's when many have cursed the Lord as well.
Yeah, and say it wasn't time for them to go. But see, what they do is show the truth of themselves. That's all they do. They show the truth of the position that they were in all the time.
Right.
Huh? Listen, a physician assassinated my father. And that physician is still alive. Practicing. And I have allowed him to be alive. Why? I say I leave that in the hands of the Lord Most High. Because he was the instrument of my father being called back.
Okay.
Now, whatever the Lord got for him on his scale, he gonna get it. I can never give him what his just due is. Huh? But the Lord can. And it's the same for the same thing where people always, people trying to interrupt, interfere, try to cause problem in my life. I leave them to the one who can truly weigh them in judgment about what they do. Because I know that it owns everything. And it's the power of everything. And if it said this is not going to be, then it's not going to be. I take that message. And then taking the message from the Lord Most High, that means you live in it. See, people say, I take the message. Are you living that? Well, not yet. Well, you're not taking the message. They say, I hear you, but are you listening? Well, I'm listening. Are you hearing? Because you want to receive something inside. You got to listen and hear. Hear and listen. To let it materialize. Because if you don't do that, then it's not going to fully materialize, and you're not going to have the full concept of what you need to have so that you could live on it. What sense is it for the Lord to give us words if we're not going to live on those words? What sense is it for the Lord to give us words? We call ourselves the righteous, we call ourselves believers, we call ourselves people of the truth. Come on. And then we try to step in front of those words and twist those words, manipulate those words to be what we want them to be.
Well, we compare the fearfulness of people with their disbelief. But as you were referring to, the people fear seeking out A.H.A.D. They fear in that fearfulness.
Yes, brother. They fear everything. See, people by instinct, I believe, fears the unknown. But A.H.A.D. says to you, I am the unknown. Huh? And it instructs you, fear me. And fear none but me. Fear none besides me. Huh? There's good reason for that. Because if you take everything that A.H.A.D. sends to you in its words, and you lay yourself before those words and let it explain those words to you from within your being, because people got a tendency to think that the Lord is limited and they can't do these things. Man got to do these things for themselves. That's the devil talking. But if you give yourself up to the Lord and act in the right manner, then it teaches you as it develops you. You understand? I never sit back afraid to say what I'm saying. If I was trying to say these things myself, then I would need to be concerned, fearful. But I use myself as a vessel of the Lord to open up. I got a contract with the Lord. Right. It said, you open your mouth, I speak. No matter what they believe, remember me. So I've gone through the 31 years now with people calling me out of my mind. That brother's deluded. That brother's this. That brother's that. That brother's this, that, and the other. And not once in all my craziness have I lost my ability to put my clothes on nice, match my stuff up. No sane man can do that. I'm just taking it to the lowest level.
Speaking to the
Huh?
That's right.
See, I dress myself up to look good as a sign for you. If he is saying, how you match his clothes up like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's something the Lord does on a low level.
But it's so.
But now, when you talk to me, okay, I've been deluded for 31 years, but your wise men can't sit down and have a conversation with me to straighten me out. Huh?
Wise, so-called wise men, dupes of the devil, who's pointed out the messengers to be deluded, as messengers in the past have been made deluded, so now they can talk to the people and the people alone. Lord, you pointed out how the people should believe that the devil is in fact a very real thing.
Oh yeah.
A very open enemy to them, you know. And
Inwardly and outwardly.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Inwardly and outwardly. People want to pour, oh, the white man the devil. Yeah, black man the devil too. Who was the first devil? The black man. Because he was the original man. That was Adam. Huh? And out of Adam came all those strains until they got to the lightest strain. Huh? And from one end to the other. See, you got dark-skinned people by nature that we know of. By nature have been most naive of all the people. And submissive. Just like Adam was. Adam and Eve was naive and submissive. And after they went through all those strains, races of people, they went to the other extreme, where they became arrogant and mean and troublesome. And we have signs of that throughout the world today. What black nation is going around the world putting themselves in every nation to cause trouble, to try to turn that nation to their philosophy of life? That in itself is troublemaking. Jesus said, tell them to you be your way and to me be mine. And they don't do that. It's like, no, to me be my way and to you be my way, and if you do that, I won't bomb you. I bring some McDonald's and some Burger Kings up there and Coca-Colas and what have you. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to hold that thought. We want to thank you for tuning in, New York audience. Continue to watch part 2 of this conversation. May the Lord bless you. Have a good evening.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?